Hi guys. So today I'm talking about more of a urban legend, not necessarily a wide known myth. This is the Bandage Man, and I happen to have it right here. Okay, so background information: the Bandage Man is a phantom of a man completely wrapped in bandages that haunts this stretch of road or a small community. He appears on a short approach road connecting U.S. Highway 101 to Cannon Beach, between the town and where Highway 26 intersects with 101. So in that small area, you can look that up, Google Earth, whatever, just to kind of see. But the phantom always vanishes before the car reaches town. By that, I mean the bloody figure who smells of rotting flesh jumps into vehicles passing on the road I talked about earlier, notably pickup trucks or open-topped cars, but also sedans, station wagons. Thank you. Sedans, station wagons, and even sports cars. Okay, sometimes a mummy breaks windows or leaves behind bits of bloody or foul-smelling bandages. That sounds kinda scary, if you ask me. And people say he was a logger, cut to bits in a sawmill accident. And that's obviously why he's wrapped in bandages, holding himself together. And it's said he eats dogs. I have a theory for that. Just think about that for a minute. And he's also been known to appear near there and disturb teens making out. Apparently there's a make-out spot there, at least one story of that. The teen couple were making out and they felt the truck shake as if somebody climbed into the bed, and so obviously they looked back to see what happened. The Bandage Man is standing there in all of his bandaged glory, and so they drive off, and he's banging on the window and on top of the truck. And then after a while, he vanishes, and it makes you think. So, with all the information that I gleaned from the internet that I just gave to you, which is not a lot, again, I say it, it's more of an urban legend, not a lot to it, just a vague type of thing to tell to your friends around a campfire to let their imaginations run wild with it. So, if he was a logger, and what if he worked for a couple days, this is back 50, 75 years ago, okay, so depending on where you were, what the work restrictions were, he could have been out of town for days, So, if you're an adult guy, been gone for days, out of town, you're gonna want something like a prostitute. Obviously, back then, they weren't as clean. And so, what if, instead of there was a sawmill accident, he got an STD that rotted away his body, which I'm no expert, but there are some that pretty much rot you away. So, what if he got one of those? Maybe that's why the rotten smell as in decaying flesh. And so you are he had to wrap himself to kind of keep him together, as an actual person in a desperate attempt to like stay together. And then possibly he stumbled off into the woods to die. And then, you know what happened then? A dog, or possibly a coyote, stumbled upon his rotting corpse that possibly still alive. He went there to die. And the dog bit him, or coyote. What if that said canine had rabies? Maybe that's why it had the balls to attack like a large lumberjack like that, even wounded like that, before he was dead. And so he gets the rabies also. There's the rotting STD, and then he also gets rabies, right? And so his phantom is here, right? And the reason he pounds on the trucks of like the teens making out, at least he did that one time, he was trying to warn them against unprotected sex, because he didn't want them to end up having a disease like him. But along with the fact that he is a phantom, possibly his tongue was rotted out, he couldn't communicate very well. And then there's the whole rabies thing. I don't know how well that would transmit into him being a phantom, his phantom self, but it would undoubtedly leave him with anger and kind of a little bit of wildness. And so he starts banging once they don't understand. They're scared of him. He senses the fear. He starts banging on the truck. They drive away. And that explains that. And the whole him eating dogs, it's just a primal sense of revenge. A dog bit him and he's getting his own revenge, he's eating those dogs. Or maybe in his sick, twisted mind, he thinks that it is like the only way to cure him. It's like maybe he thinks that a dog gave him this, and so he has to eat dogs to like kind of find a cure, you could say. And so maybe he just is trying to find help. Maybe he's trying to warn teens against unprotected sex and getting STDs. Maybe he's looking for revenge by eating dogs. That's my theory. He just simply is trying to find help, but he for some reason, his phantom cannot get into town. It always disappears before reaching town, so maybe he wasn't welcomed in town as a human being, and so that affects his ghost or phantom, as we could call it. Maybe there's some like just kind of mentality of the town just forcing him away. Like maybe he was a bad person as a human, and so that just kind of left effects on his soul. The phantom left behind, that he wasn't welcomed in town. But I've exhausted my knowledge of this and my theory today, so I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.